As a minimalist, I sleep on a yoga mat. A bed is just a waste of money. Smiling? Please, that takes up way too much energy. And I don't just use shampoo to wash my hair. It's also my toothpaste. Okay, that's obviously not true. I'm not that extreme. But there are things that many consider normal that I've stopped doing as a minimalist. And honestly, letting go of these habits has made my life so much simpler and more intentional. So today I want to share 20 of those normal things that many people do without thinking, but the typical minimalist avoids. Buy things impulsively. A purchase gives you a temporary dopamine release, but not long-lasting happiness. And instead you'll end up with a lot of clutter in your house and less money in your pocket. A minimalist, when they're in a store, will ask themselves, does this really add value to my life? And they may even go home and wait for 24 hours before making their final decision. They focus on long-term goals instead of short-term pleasure. Go shopping for entertainment or stress relief. Going to the mall when you don't need to is a surefire way to spend a lot of money on things you don't care about and potentially end up in debt. For a minimalist, malls do serve a purpose, but it's not entertainment or overcoming boredom. Treating yourself to retail therapy doesn't work. It just creates more anxiety and dissatisfaction, and you'll end up with a house full of clutter and a bank account that's empty at the end of the month. So I find joy in simple things: reading a book, watering my plants, or going for a walk. And the best part is, they're free. Own duplicates of items unnecessarily. Some people keep their broken TV after they buy a new one because they hope to one day have it fixed. Or they'll have duplicate coffee machines, water bottles, or phone chargers. This can happen when we impulse buy or have a scarcity mindset thinking maybe it will break one day. As a minimalist, I only want to keep things I need that give me joy or are otherwise valuable. And duplicates don't pass that bar. Keep sentimental items out of a sense of guilt or obligation. If you have a sentimental item that is dear to you, by all means keep it and put it on display at a prominent spot in your home. But what if you have a sentimental item that feels heavy, maybe even brings you down? Might be in a box somewhere tucked away in the back of a closet, and you're only holding on to it out of a sense of guilt or obligation. If that's you, it may be helpful to ask, what is the story I tell myself about this item? Maybe it was a gift or a piece you inherited and now you feel like a bad, ungrateful person if you discard it. Or maybe it's something you spend a lot of money on. Just asking yourself this question and bringing the answer to the surface may already create a shift in how you view it. You could also ask, what is it costing me to keep this item in my life? Is the guilt or other negative emotions something I'm willing to keep carrying with me? Or is it maybe time to let go and create space for something more meaningful? Hold on to things just in case. This is related to duplicates. Just in case items can cause a lot of clutter in your home. 6 extra coffee mugs or 10 extra champagne glasses in case the whole family comes over to celebrate a win, or those 6 extra pie pans you keep around because maybe you will use it at Thanksgiving. Most just-in-case items aren't actually saving you money, they just take up a lot of space. And minimalists have this 20-20 rule that I find useful. If an item costs less than $20 and you can get a hold of it within 20 minutes of your home, don't bother keeping it just in case. Upgrade their phone every year. These days, new phones are hardly an improvement over last year's editions. I get it, companies need to sell products, but I go by the rule, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And my phone ain't broken. I have an iPhone 12, that model is 4.5 years old, but it still does everything that I need it to do. It works fine, the battery life is still pretty good, and I shoot all my YouTube videos on it. Fill every corner of their home with decor or furniture. As a minimalist, I apply the idea of less is more. An open space creates calm. It allows the room to breathe and feels more spacious. It has its limits though. I love a good sofa like the one that I'm sitting on right now. I tried extreme minimalism for 7 days and a sofa was one of the things I missed the most. But too many objects can overwhelm the senses and create a chaotic environment. So I go for quality over quantity, choosing items that truly enhance the space. Confuse wants with needs. Most people go into debt because of wants, not needs. Buying a new truck or a 5-bedroom house. And it's hard not to when you're constantly bombarded with marketing messages telling you that if you only buy product X, you'll be richer, more successful, more attractive, or younger. But that's an illusion, and one that you don't have to buy into. When you realize that we don't need a lot of things to live, basically just a roof over our head and food on the table, money becomes simple. Live below your means, don't buy anything you can't afford, and save a portion of your income every month. Buy items on sale just because they're discounted. I want to be mindful about what I surround myself with. Just because something is on sale doesn't mean I need to buy it. Often those purchases may seem like a good idea in the moment in the store, but then when you're home and over time, those things end up just piling up in the back of a closet somewhere, gathering dust. So I don't buy things just because they're on sale. Unless it's something that I was going to buy anyway and I thought it through, then of course it's great that I can buy it at a discount. Live paycheck to paycheck despite earning more than enough. Living paycheck to paycheck is stressful. If you lose your job or you have an unexpected financial expense, you can be immediately in financial trouble. So if instead you can live within your means and lower your expenses, you're in a much better position. As a minimalist, I keep my lifestyle simple, and I will continue to do so even if my income grows. That isn't always fun, it does require some sacrifices, but the peace of mind I get from it is worth it. On multiple subscription services they rarely use. It's easy to overspend on subscriptions like streaming platforms, apps, and gyms that you don't use. We only have Netflix. If I want to see a show somewhere else, like a show that's really good, I may do a 1-month free trial for that platform. I'll watch a show and then I'll cancel the trial before it expires. If you want a quick financial win, go through your subscriptions and cancel the ones you hardly use. Except YouTube, that's free. So take advantage of this one-time offer. Here, I'll even throw this beautiful set of measuring cups in there. So here, feel free to subscribe. Oops. Pay for brand names when generic alternatives are just as good. I used to spend a lot on branded clothes. Others can spend a lot on designer bags, watches, or gadgets. But since I've become a minimalist, I don't care about branded clothes anymore. I just have plain-looking items like this shirt I'm wearing right now, things that go with anything. Go into debt for non-essential purchases. With high inflation and the cost of living crisis, life is expensive for average income earners like myself. And one thing to handle that is to try to make more money. But it isn't always easy, at least not for me. Another thing what you can do, is to look at your spending, see where you may be overspending and try to cut that. And also try to avoid going into debt for things you don't need. Ignore financial goals like saving, investing, or building an emergency fund. A recent study found that 59% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover an unexpected $1,000 emergency expense. That's mind-blowing. That's more than half of the population. Having $1,000 in an emergency fund is the best self-care treatment you can give yourself. No spa treatment or massage is that good for your well-being or mental health. And once you've built a habit of saving little bits here and there to build that emergency fund, it's much easier to keep going and start saving towards a financially secure future. Work excessive hours to afford things they don't need to impress people they may not even like. I value control of my time above anything else. If I keep my expenses low and live within my means, I don't have to work as much and can enjoy my free time more. Or I can focus on projects that may not generate a lot of money, but I really enjoy doing them, like making these videos. Living an expensive lifestyle hinders my ability to live this way. The more I spend, the more I need to work to pay all those things off. I take buying a new car, for example. That's easily a $500 or more monthly payment. Is that worth it? Define self-worth through validation or approval from others. My self-confidence isn't defined by what others think of me. When your sense of self-worth depends on external praise, it's fragile as it fluctuates based on how others perceive you, and it can be taken away at any moment. For me, my confidence comes from embracing who I am and what I stand for. Now, I'm not perfect at it, I make mistakes just like you, but it's my intention to accept myself as I am with all my faults. If you're new to minimalism and you don't know how to get started, I created this free How to Get Started with Minimalism checklist, which you can download in the description below. View more as better in every aspect of life. If you have nothing, more is better. But for most people in the Western world, that's not the position that they're in. Constantly striving for more and more and more can lead to feelings of stress, overwhelm, and burnout. And it's also expensive. There's a reason why the minimalist credo is less is more. Fewer possessions, fewer stuff, so you can have more space for things that really matter, which is personal growth, meaningful relationships, and cultivating inner peace. Cling to past successes or identities instead of embracing change. So this was a hard one for me. I was a corporate lawyer for 8 years, and even though I wouldn't admit it at the time, I took secret joy in telling people I am a lawyer when I introduced myself and then see how they would react. It felt as if I had finally arrived in life. So when I left that job over a decade ago, after a long episode of non-stop headaches, I had a hard time redefining myself. I didn't want to go back into law, but if I wasn't a lawyer, who was I? I've since recognized that my past doesn't define my future. I'm grateful for the experience, but I'm now in the next phase of my life. I make a lot less money, but minimalism has taught me how to be content with less, and I'm much happier now. Ignore self-reflection. After I did my first full declutter of my apartment, I sat down and felt this sense of calm wash over me. I realized that the empty space created headspace. And with that clarity, I saw that I also had some mental clutter to shift through. Without self-reflection, thoughts can pile up like physical clutter, making it hard to focus, make decisions, or understand what truly matters. So after years of neglect, I picked up my journaling habit again. That has really helped me over the years to make sense of things and identify what's working and what's not. Worry excessively about losing what they have rather than appreciating it. I once attended a meditation retreat where we learned a lot about non-attachment. But that confused me, so after a meditation session, I walked up to the teacher and asked, what does this mean? Can I not enjoy anything anymore? And then the teacher said, no, it's actually the opposite. When you go out of the meditation hall, go sit in the sun and really feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, embrace the light of it, knowing that it's not permanent, knowing that a cloud can take it away at any moment. That will really make you appreciate it more in the moment. I thought it was a really powerful lesson. Nothing in life is guaranteed, nothing is permanent. But if we constantly worry about losing something, it keeps us from fully appreciating it. If this is something you struggle with, I've come across something helpful, an interesting but not very well-known technique to better appreciate the things you own. I talked about it in another video, how to want what you already have, which you can watch by clicking the video on screen. So thanks for watching, and now I'm off to brush my teeth with actual toothpaste. Bye!